Let me ask you something, and I want you to really sit with this before you answer. When was the last time you and your partner had a conversation, a real one? Not about the bills, not about the kids, not about who's picking up groceries, but a conversation where you actually said something true about how you feel inside. Take a moment, because for a lot of people watching this, that answer is going to be uncomfortable. Not because something dramatic happened, not because there was a fight, or a betrayal, or a breakdown, but because somewhere along the way, quietly, without either of you planning it, you became two people sharing a life, without actually sharing yourselves. My name is Gray, and what I want to talk about today is something I have never heard named properly, not in therapy offices, not in men's magazines, not between friends over a drink. It's called a silent divorce, and if you were born between 1965 and 1980, there is a very good chance you are already living inside one. Let me be clear about what I mean, because this is not about bad marriages. A silent divorce is not screaming matches at midnight. It's not lawyers and courtrooms. It's not even obvious unhappiness. A silent divorce is when two people, who genuinely care about each other, slowly stop actually reaching each other. The marriage is intact on paper. The house is shared. The family dinners still happen. The Christmas cards still go out with both names on them. But inside that house, inside that shared bed, there is a distance that neither person knows quite how to name, or quite how to close. You are not enemies. You are not strangers exactly. You are something harder to explain than either of those things. You are two people who used to know each other completely, and somehow, without either of you deciding it, stopped. Here is the thing about a silent divorce. It never starts with a decision. It starts with a season of being too busy, a season of working too hard, a season of kids who needed everything from both of you, and left nothing left over for each other. And during that season, you both made a quiet agreement that neither of you ever actually spoke out loud. We'll get back to each other later. When things slow down, when the pressure lifts, when the kids are older, when work calms down. But here is what no one tells you about later. Later arrives, and you look across the room at the person you have built 30 years with, and you realize you don't know how to find your way back to who you were before all of it got in the way. Now I want to be specific here, because this is not just a human problem. This is a Gen X problem in a particular way. Those of us born between 1965 and 1980 were raised on a very specific set of relationship models. Our parents didn't talk about their feelings in marriage. Our fathers provided, our mothers managed, and whatever was happening emotionally between the two of them stayed behind closed doors, or more likely, got buried so deep, it stopped being visible even to them. We watched that. We absorbed it, and we brought it directly into our own marriages. We showed love the way we were taught to show love, through doing, through providing, through showing up in every practical way imaginable, while quietly leaving the emotional door shut. And for years, it worked well enough. Life was full. There was always something to manage, always something demanding your attention. The silence between you and your partner never had enough space to become visible, because life kept filling the silence for you. But now the kids have grown, or the career has plateaued, or retirement is here or coming, and suddenly, the silence has nowhere to hide. Let me paint you a picture, because I want you to recognize this. If it is happening in your own home, you sit at dinner together, and the conversation is about logistics. What needs to be done? What happened today? Surface things, safe things. You watch TV side by side in the evening, and it feels companionable enough. But neither of you is really present. You go to bed at the same time, and you are kind to each other. There is no cruelty, no coldness, just a kind of careful distance that has become so familiar. Neither of you notices it anymore. Your partner asks how you are, and you say fine, not because everything is fine, but because fine is the only answer. That doesn't require you to open a door. You've both quietly agreed to leave closed. And here is the most painful part. You still love this person, genuinely, deeply, even, but love alone, it turns out, is not the same as connection. And somewhere in the decades of building a life together, the connection quietly walked out a door that neither of you was watching. Now here is what I want you to understand, because this matters enormously. Your partner is feeling it too, not necessarily in the same way, not necessarily with the same words for it, but that quiet loneliness inside a marriage, that feeling of being physically close to someone you once knew completely, and somehow feeling alone anyway. That is not just yours. Research tells us that women in long-term marriages often describe feeling invisible to their husbands, not because their husbands are cruel, but because their husbands stopped seeing them, the way men like us stop seeing things that aren't problems to solve, or tasks to complete. And men like us, carry our own version of it. We feel the distance. We feel that something is missing. but we have spent so many decades not having the language for feelings that we can't even name what we're grieving. So we go quieter, we stay a little later at work, we find things to fix around the house, we stay busy, because busy keeps us from having to sit inside the discomfort of a silence we don't know how to fill. Here is where I need to be direct with you. A silent divorce does not stay silent forever. It either gets addressed, or it becomes the story of how two people, who once loved each other, ended up as polite strangers. In the last chapter of their lives, I have seen both endings, and I can tell you, the couples who let the silence win don't look dramatic about it, they don't fight, they don't explode, they just slowly, quietly, become roommates with a shared history, living side by side, but completely unreachable to each other. And then one day, one of them decides they can't do it anymore, or one of them gets sick, or one of them dies, and the surviving person is left, not just with grief, but with the unbearable weight of everything that was never said. So what do? I'm going to tell you what I know. Not from a textbook, but from the other side of it. It does not start with a big conversation. It does not start with declaring that something is wrong. It starts with one small, deliberate act of choosing your partner over your own discomfort. It starts with putting the phone down at dinner and asking something real. Not how was your day, not what do we need from the shops. Something real. What have you been thinking about lately that you haven't told me? Is there something you need from me that I haven't been giving you? Do you feel close to me? Because honestly, I've been wondering if I've been as present as I should be. Those questions are terrifying for men like us. I know that, because they open a door, and we don't know what is on the other side of it. But I promise you, whatever is on the other side of that door is better than what is on the other side of silence. Here is the question I want to leave you with. Not a question about your marriage, a question about you. When did you last let your partner actually see you? Not the version of you that handles things. Not the version that provides and protects and fixes, but the version that doubts sometimes, that gets tired, that misses how things used to feel, that wants to be known, truly known, by the one person in the world you chose above everyone else. That version of you, the unguarded one. Your partner has probably been waiting for him to come back for a very long time. A silent divorce is not the end of a marriage. It is a marriage asking for something. It is two people who have spent decades being everything for everyone else, finally arriving at a moment where the most important work left is finding their way back to each other. That work is not dramatic, it is not loud, it is quiet, consistent, deliberate. It is choosing, one small moment at a time, to be present instead of distant, to speak instead of going quiet, to reach instead of waiting to be reached. The silence in your marriage is not a verdict, it is an invitation. The question is whether you are going to accept it. My name is Gray. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next one.